Thank you for joining us today for Cape Chronicle. I'm Mike Renick. We have three special guests in the studio. First, we will talk to Glenn Campbell, Cape Catfish President and Director. Next, we will meet the founder of the Scout, Jeff Rawson. And finally, we will talk to local author Joseph Moore. That's all ahead next on Cape Chronicle.
Every day,
millions of people are connecting. Father,
cosplayer,
mentor,
actor. It's time we take a step forward, come together,
and discover
how accepting our differences can make us stronger.
Welcome back to Cape Chronicle. I'm Mike Renick. Glenn Campbell is the president and director of the Cape Catfish, a baseball team that is a franchise of the Prospect League. Glenn joined the Catfish in the fall of 2022. Before that, he was the co-founder of what is now known as Lids, the leading omni-channel sports license headwear retailer in the world. Glenn, how you doing?
Good, man. Good to be here, man.
It's good to see you. You are a guy that likes to be busy. I know that.
Yep, very much so.
And so the Cape Catfish is the latest endeavor.
It is. I got out of the Lids about 4 years ago, and man, when you're busy as much as I was, travel as much as I did, it's cool to relax for a little bit, but man, it was too much downtime for me. So I find myself very busy with this Catfish endeavor.
Well, I think what's key to your busyness, though, is that you try to stay busy with things in Cape Girardeau. I mean, I know you travel and have kids at school and that sort of thing, but you really believe in growing Cape, growing our area, and that's where the Cape Catfish come in.
Absolutely. I moved back here in 2007, still worked for Lids up until 2019, so I commuted out of Cape Girardeau. It's very important for me to get my family back here and be part of the community with some of the investments I've made, some of the things that I've done, the people were involved with. And you're right, the Cape Catfish, I was doing play-by-play for the Notre Dame Bulldogs, and Mark Hogan, who was the GM, heard me and said, hey, you need to do some Catfish games. I do some Catfish games, enjoy it. Then all of a sudden my business brain kicks in and I go, man, you guys need to be doing this better. You should be doing that better. Why aren't we doing food like this? And Mark Hogan goes, well, jump right in, the water's fine. So I did.
So you mentioned Mark Hogan. Right. So Mark's GM,
correct.
You're president,
yes.
And you have a new manager this year, right?
We do. Scott Little's the new field manager. We just hired Scott. I've known him for a lot of years. So we just hired him. We just hired Braden Lackey, from he coached at the West Virginia team. He's going to be one of our assistant coaches. And then Jason Chavez, a local guy over at Jackson, is the other coach. We have just filled out our coaching team, and that was Hogan and I thought we may have to. I told Hogue, if we don't get somebody hired soon, you're going to be doing third base and I'm doing first, and that's not the kind of busyness I wanted.
So the season itself, it's collegiate baseball players?
Yes, sir. It's a collegiate wood bat league, and I've learned a lot of this in the last 6 months. Is we are deemed the number 2 or 3 league right behind Cape Cod and maybe the Northwoods League. We're right there. So we've got some very talented people. I didn't know this. Go look on the Prospect League website. They're doing 60 in 60 days. So 60 players who played in the Prospect League is 60 years old this year. And so they are doing the top 60 players that played in the league. Guys like Jim Sundberg and Mike Schmidt, people that played in the Prospect League that used to be the Central Illinois College League. So the history in this league is way different than I thought it was. Being a baseball buff, it's kind of cool.
That's awesome. And the Cape Catfish play at beautiful Capitol Park.
They do, and that's, again, we're probably the smallest park. Our league arguably has the best facilities in all of the country. We've got, Springfield, Illinois just put a new stadium in. The Miners used to be, now it's the Thrillbillies over there in Marion. They've got a great field. The Jackson, Tennessee used to be a AA club. So these kids are playing in some really nice clubs that used to be minor league clubs. And then you've got Capitol Field, but people love our field. It's quaint. It's a couple thousand people. People are on a hill. People are on the deck. People are on the plaza. So we've got a completely different field than most people do, but people love coming here to play.
And I know that's a part important to you when you talked about taking the reins, so to speak. You want this to be a day at the ballpark, a night at the ballpark for families, for friends to come out and have a good time and watch some really good baseball.
100% is, Mark Hogan, we're the winningest team in the Prospect League the last 3 years. But again, people don't come to watch baseball. 80% of the people that you poll don't know what the score was. They come out, they see friends, they have a cold beer or a hot dog, and the kids run around, and they want to be entertained. And so I think we're in the entertainment business. The baseball, as long as Mark Hogan and people like Scott Lill are involved, Cindy Gannon, will always be top notch. We will get great kids in here. The host families are incredible. But it's the other things besides baseball that we want to sort of ramp up and take up a notch.
And what are some of those things kind of on the docket for the upcoming season?
Yeah, it's funny. We're going to lay our promotional schedule out next week, but we've got a lot of new sponsorships in there. We're going to do some cool things with some local food restaurateurs here in town. We're going to steal a few things from the playbook of the Savannah Bananas. We're not going to just create things. We're going to look at what other people are doing well, and we're going to try to execute those very well. So when people come out, whether you like baseball or not, you leave there and going, man, wasn't that cool in the fourth inning when the players came out and handed out roses to people and took pictures, and wasn't that cool when they threw beach balls in the stands? So we want it to be everything besides baseball, and we're bringing people back.
Did I hear you maybe mention there could be some line dancing even?
There could be some line dancing. My daughter, she danced at Notre Dame, and I told her, she's at Auburn right now. I told her, you're coming back May 5th. I said, I need you to choreograph a dance in the 2 weeks you have that you're here during the summer, so that we can do a little line dance. And yeah, we're gonna throw out some line dance, see if we can get some players out there, and hopefully by the third or fourth game, I got people dancing in the stands. So we'll see.
So you mentioned the Notre Dame connection with doing play-by-play. You did play-by-play for Cape Catfish. Is baseball kind of your go-to from a sports side of things? Kind of have a particular, and the hats, obviously, lids. Is there a passion there?
It is. Baseball was always my number one growing up. My dad used to take us to Busch Stadium. We'd get $6 tickets and sit up high, and Lou Brock was my favorite player. And so I'm a diehard Cardinal and a diehard baseball fan. So love supporting SEMO here in town. And I love all the sports, but baseball is one of those ones where I know it and understand it. I've coached it. I started the Missouri Bulls, that now is run by Todd Pennington, and so I've always been involved in baseball some way, shape, or form. So it's fun. It's fun. It's a lot of work. I think I underestimated in a small organization how much work there really was, and now I'm getting a full dose of it.
And I know you've got interns that help out. You mentioned several of the staff members already, but it's a wider net than just the 4 or 5 or 6 that you see on a daily basis.
Sure, Jimmy Limbaugh's still involved. He was the president. Got Mark Hogan, Sidney Gannon, Donna Wheeler, and then Eli Campbell, who's my son, who's doing an internship there for SEMO. He's in his senior year at SEMO, and then we've got a dozen interns. I'm meeting them every day. They're in there doing social media posts. They're in there doing retail stuff. We're going to have some of them doing the PLTV that we do. So it's a great internship, and SEMO's a great partner to do that with.
So as we got about 30 seconds left here,
Sure.
Season opener is when? Or at home?
It's at home June 3rd. We're on the road for 2, and then June 3rd, Saturday night, against the Jackson, what are they? The Thrillbillies and the Rockabillies, the Jackson, Tennessee Rockabillies.
Okay, all right.
So,
and then tickets are available?
Tickets online. We got a brand new ticketing system that'll be launched next week, but $9 general admission, $12 reserved. We've got the Papa John's Dugout Club. We've got the Southeast Health home run deck. So a lot of ways to get tickets.
Yeah,
you can walk up and buy them the day of the game.
And you mentioned that deck. What a great experience for a business, an organization to go and watch some baseball on the home run deck.
That's exactly. Most people, they go, man, I've only been to 3 or 4 games, but it's always on the deck. Somebody invites me. It is a great time. It's a fun venue for a night out with the wife or with family and friends. So come on out and see us.
All right, Glenn. Well, congratulations and best of luck for 2023.
Appreciate you having me on.
Yep, you betcha.
Take care.
We've been talking with Cape Catfish President and Director Glenn Campbell. Next, we'll talk with Jeff Rawson, founder of The Scout. Stay tuned.
people think that online degrees are very daunting and they're very nervous because it's in your hands, but it actually gives you the power and the flexibility to be able to complete those tasks whenever you have the time to do it. I definitely wish SEMO keeps expanding those online degrees because they're beneficial. They made or break my career.
Welcome back to Cape Chronicle. I'm Mike Renick. Jeff Rawson is the founder of The Scout, which is a daily news site and email service highlighting events in southeast Missouri. The Scout also encompasses the Scout Sessions, a video series highlighting local musicians, and Scout Hall, which hosts events and businesses throughout downtown Cape area. Jeff, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, man.
That's kind of a mouthful.
It's a lot, yeah.
From what I know of how the Scout kind of began, or the idea behind it, it's obviously grown.
It continues to grow, yeah. I moved to the area about 10 years ago now, which is kind of wild to think about. And the Scout started as this idea of just sharing what's good and kind of beautiful from southeast Missouri and kind of the Midwest in general.
Sure.
It started as this daily email product and has kind of blossomed into all these different things we have going on today.
So do you provide all the content for that daily email?
Yeah, it started, I wrote the first one from the library, just like the public library.
Okay.
But now we still write that daily, but now we get a lot of submissions from the community, people telling us about cool things happening or interesting people we should meet.
Nice.
So that was always the goal, was it would really be community driven in terms of content, so we get a lot of help from folks in the community.
So it's slowly kind of writing itself, so to speak.
Yeah, the faster it would do that, the better.
So as we mentioned again in the intro, you know, the idea, I think one of the ideas you told me at some point too was, you know, you wanted to bring people together. You wanted to have something that would, you know, give families and just people in general in our area, you know, something to do or a reason to come together. And there's kind of a couple avenues now that the Scout has branched off into, which have provided that. And one of those is the Shipyard Fest. How many years are we going now?
We're on year 5.
Year 5 already.
Yeah.
So maybe just talk briefly about how that came to be, how Shipyard Fest came to be, and how the Scout, you know, has played a role in that.
Sure, yeah. I mean, through the Scout, we really talk a lot about just what's good and positive in the area, and what brings people together, and we really found it's food and music. Those are the things that everyone
Sure.
can kind of get behind. And so we had this idea back in 2018 that the Scout would eventually do these community events, kind of small events, and eventually build into this large kind of outdoor music fest. And then we decided to flip that and just start with the music fest. So that was our first big event back in 2018. It was a one-day event at the time. It's now a 2-day event in September.
And that started really on the backside of where we're at today, and is moved into a bigger space. You kind of outgrew your area, and you're in a bigger space now in downtown Cape.
Yeah, we started here in Ivor Square, and the kind of streets behind the office here, and then 2 years after that, we moved out to Century Casino on the property there, which has been wonderful. They're great hosts. But we needed the space. We now have thousands of people that come to the area each fall for this event.
So along those lines, you have Scout Sessions as well. And I know that's a feature that you do with musicians, really in a way that is unique. You seem to kind of pick spots in our area that you want to utilize to go and basically record a music video.
Yeah, that started just kind of on the heels of Shipyard. Kind of at that time was looking at how to showcase kind of local and Midwestern singers and songwriters. So we record these kind of intimate, live but offstage performances with folks in kind of iconic but lesser known places here in the Midwest.
And you've had people, and obviously you focused on some local performers, but I know you've been moving out some and getting submissions from people kind of from all around.
Yeah, we have people reaching out to us now wanting to record videos with us. And then during Shipyard, of course, we have touring acts coming from across the country, and we like to grab some of those guys and record them in live sessions here in Cape, which is a lot of fun.
Are there any particular, whether it be Shipyard or scout sessions, do you have your eye on a certain type of performer that you like to either have at Shipyard Fest or highlight on the scout sessions?
Not really. I think the Shipyard is really a multi-genre festival, so we like a lot of different sounds. We like to provide a variety for people to be comfortable with, but at the same time explore something maybe they hadn't listened to in the past. And you're starting to see that more in the scout session videos now too. So
Shipyard, have you announced when the next one will be?
Yeah, this year, September 22nd and 23rd at Century Casino.
Okay.
A lot more announcements coming here within about the next month.
Like maybe who will be performing?
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, we won't pry on that then.
Yeah, we'll get there.
And then if you have driven down Broadway, there's a new building, an old building that I know a lot of blood, sweat, and tears has gone into, called Scout Hall. And again, another branch of the Scout, bringing people together. Tell us a bit about Scout Hall.
Sure. So when I came to Cape, I actually came here for a job with Rust Media and the Rust family, who've been wonderful in supporting the Scout and all the things that we've been building for the past 9 years. That property on Broadway, Scout Hall, is a multi-use facility now, 3 restaurants, a boutique, there are apartments there, and opening very soon, there'll be 2 venues, a venue in the lower level and then a venue outside for live music, again, bringing folks together, other programmed events that we'll build there, and touring music having a place in Cape.
So is the goal of the venue you mentioned downstairs to have regular music, or just more like highlighted events where music will be a part of that?
Yeah, that's the idea. Is really an entertainment-driven venue of bringing comedy and music to Cape, but then having a space for other cool events to happen through the Scout. We do the next project, which is we'll work with high school students through the area. We have a reception there next week.
Okay.
That will be at Scout Hall.
Okay. Any other specific Scout projects that maybe don't come to mind for me that are out there or that you're working on?
Yeah, I should probably come up with better names because they're all just Scout something. But there's the Scout Pass. That's something we talked about not long ago,
right.
which is a passport book with 32 local businesses. You get that book and you go around to get some cool deals for places around town. So that started during COVID as a way to kind of help support our favorite bars and restaurants and places we wanted to really support.
Okay, and so is there a website to go to?
That is thescoutpass.com.
thescoutpass.com.
Yeah. You can get all the Scout stuff at thescoutdaily.com, and that kind of takes you out to all of our different projects we're working on.
All right, and you got a bunch of them.
A few, yeah.
Jeff, we appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you very much. Again, talking with Jeff Rawson, and to end our show, we'll talk to local author Joseph Moore. That's all next on Cape Chronicle.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. And she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you and we'll figure it out."
Welcome back to Cape Chronicle. I'm Mike Renick. Joseph Moore is an elementary school teacher in Jackson, and he is also an author. In January, he released his debut novel entitled The Call of Jeremiah McGill, a coming-of-age novel that illustrates growing up as a black child of faith in the transformative 1970s. Joseph, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you so much.
You bet. I'm excited to learn about you and learn about the book. I told you beforehand I haven't had a chance to read the book yet.
That's okay.
But I'm ready to learn about it and pick up a copy here. So you are from Cape Girardeau?
Yes, sir. I'm from Cape Girardeau, Missouri, born and raised.
Okay.
Went to Cape Central High School. After Cape Central High School, went to Southeast Missouri State University, go Red Hawks.
There you go.
And then after graduating from Southeast Missouri State University, that's why I became an elementary music teacher for the past 10 years in North Elementary, Millersville, and Gordeville Elementary schools.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So you get to work with the youngins, right?
I get to work with the youngins, the children, the babies, as we call them.
There you go. And I know we'll get into your passion, obviously, as an author, but music's always been a passion for you.
Yeah, music has always been that driving force for me since I was a child. And that's where my love of music and teaching came from, in the elementary setting. And so it's crazy, it's so powerful for me to give back to children every day, teaching and inspiring them to become musicians or whatever they want to become in life. So it's just an awesome experience so far.
I mean, you hit the nail on the head. That's the beauty when you have a passion and you're able to see that through.
Yes.
And then communicate that passion to especially young children that are the future of the music scene or teaching or whatnot. That's got to be very exciting for you.
Yes, sir. It's very exciting and inspiring for me every day to see them grow. Because if they grow, I grow as a music teacher and a musician.
Absolutely. So when you were growing up and music was such a passion, was it instruments? Was it singing? Was it a little bit of both?
It was more singing than instrumental. I started out singing, and then when I got in college and high school, I started taking more piano. But my main instrument is singing. So.
Okay. All right. And you lead some worship services, right?
Yes. My church, House of Prayer, where I reach mission, was where I got my start from as a worship leader with Apostle Joanne McCauley. And I've been doing that for maybe the past 10, 20 years of my life.
Really?
Since I was a teenager. And it's been an awesome experience just growing in that and just developing my gift in the church setting, with faith and with Jesus with me every way.
So I've read that you were a storyteller since childhood.
Yeah.
And that really is part of the foundation for your book.
Yeah. This book, you hit it on the nail. You really did. Since I was a child, I love telling stories. I love listening to stories, especially in elementary settings where we used to read stories such as Number the Stars, Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry, Maniac McGee, Stepping on the Cracks. Those stories we used to read all the time.
Sure.
Or our teachers used to read them. And I always said to myself, man, I would love to write a book of that certain nature one day. I would love to, author a book of that transformative setting. And here we are 20 years, some later, my first book. Yeah, so.
Congratulations to you. So tell us about the book. I know, obviously, your life is filled with faith, and that's part of the journey of the book as well. Tell us a bit about it.
Yes, sir. This book is basically about a young boy, 11 years old, growing up in the 1970s. And his father's a pastor, his mother is a worship leader, his older brother is an organist. It seems as if everyone knows what they are called to do or what they're going to be except him. And so he's just an average 11-year-old boy, loving comic books, loved to hang out with his friends, always getting into mischief. And so you see the journey from his father putting that pressure on him to put away those childish things and start to kind of grow up and grow and see who you are in the Lord. And you see that transformation from beginning to the end of this book.
Those are tough questions to answer for yourself.
It is.
Very tough. Is there a part of you in this book?
Somewhat, yes. Yeah. But most of the stories came from when my parents and my pastor, they all grew up at the same church, the same house of faith since they were children. And so a lot of the stories that you see and hear were from there, when they were growing up in the 70s. And I always found it so interesting that the stories that they told about their faith, about how they made it through, are the same things we're going through today.
Sure.
Yeah, the gas prices, the inflation, wars and rumors of wars. We're going through that stuff today, but it's amazing how their faith held strong back in the 70s compared to, what we see now. So it's awesome.
So is would the book be geared towards a younger reader or all ages?
All ages will gain something from this, but my main target is with the young people.
Okay.
With the young people, the young generation of this time. I just feel like they're at a place where they're just, going through life,
sure,
not knowing who they are. And I want to, gear towards them and, let them see, listen, we all been through there. We all have those questions. Who am I? What am I called to do? What is my purpose
Absolutely.
in life? And so I hope with this book, I pray with this book, a takeaway is they would start finding who they are in life and start going geared towards that.
So we have about 2 minutes left, but what are the mechanics of writing a book? And I know we can't explain that in 2 minutes, but how long did it take? When did you decide, okay, I'm going to start putting, paper to pen or get at the computer?
It took a long time. A long time. It started as an idea, like you said, and then finally saying to myself, I'm going to put this down on pen and paper, typewriter, computer, whatever you may call it or see it as. But a lot of editing, a lot of rough drafts, a lot of tears,
sure,
a lot of questions, a lot of, is this book supposed to be? It's a lot of that stuff that goes in it, but just persevering through it and knowing that at the end you're going to have a wonderful product that people of all ages are going to gain something from. That's the end goal in mind. So yeah.
I'm sure during the process, you had to ask the question, is this what I'm supposed to be doing?
Exactly.
Is this what I'm called to
all
be?
The time.
Yeah.
All the time. When I get stuck on a chapter, okay, is this it? It's just throw it away. And sometimes you have to take a break from, just step back and see the bigger picture. But at the end of the day, just the process was so wonderful to go through to get what you have today.
So where can we find the book?
You can find the book. I do have a website. It's a trial and error because I'm not a website person, but JeremiahMcGill.net, or you can go on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all those places you can find the book. So.
Okay, and real quickly, Jeremiah McGill, that name came from where?
Jesus Christ.
Okay. Okay. So it just was a name that came to you.
It's a name that came to me, yep.
Okay. Well, congratulations to you.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for being here today. And again, tell us where we can find the book.
Yes, Amazon. You can find it on Amazon. You can find it on Barnes & Noble. You can find it at JeremiahMcGill.net. And you can go to my email, jlmoore@jackson.k12.mo.us.
Will there be a sequel, or will there be another book in the future?
I hope. I hope so, yes.
All right. Well, Joseph, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
We appreciate it. And thank you for joining us today for Cape Chronicle. The program is a collaboration between the Department of Mass Media at Southeast Missouri State University, the City of Cape Girardeau, and River Radio. Our executive producer is Eun Jeong Lee, and I'm Mike Renick. Thank you for watching.